All right, shalom, shalom. First thing first, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone, those who rule well and how learned this truth from. Salutation to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth, in all sincerity and diligence, risking both your lives and freedoms to do so. All right, shalom to the rest of the elect, as we all await the second exodus coming quickly by the hands of the Lord Yahweh Shah. This is your brother, Rakaga Bard. All right, back at you again with another lesson. Also, to be a walk and talk. Um, but ultimately, I want to go into the fact that we have to constantly pray, all right, for the strength to endure the storm, man. All right, pray to the Lord for the strength, the power, the faith, you know, to endure the storm, which means all the fucking hell that we catch. All right, because brothers was saying in the group chat, man, we just you feel when Satan is attacking heavy, and that not only do we need to pray for the strength to endure ourselves, but also pray for each other, man. All right, we gotta constantly pray for each other. All right, because you never know what a brother is going through or what a sister may be going through. And yeah, we check up on each other, but even then, man, it's some things that it's just between you and the Heavenly Father, man. And that's why I want to do this lesson because when it rains, it pours, man. Okay, when it rains, it fucking pours, and that's why that's a saying. Because it's like when one thing goes wrong, it's like everything else was just waiting, all right, for that one thing to go wrong, so everything else can fall apart, man. And those are moments that make you want to fucking say fuck it, not necessarily fuck it, as in regards to the truth, but just in general, man. Like, you get tired of dealing with shit, man. But this is hell, okay? And you never know what it may be, man. Like when things are going too well for a period of time, for lack of better words, because it's nothing's gonna be perfect. But when things be going too smooth, you know, you should just be anticipating what's about to go wrong next, man. Because that's how it is. All right, it's like things are going well, and then you just know something's about to come, man. Whether it be car problems, financial, emotional, bodily issues, niggas, Esau, these women. Like it's so many fucking things, man. And it's a lot of times it's like when one thing go wrong, everything else go wrong because you was already on edge, you know. And it's like it's always the little shit. But the point of this lesson is that we gotta pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah for the strength to endure the storm, man. Instead of having that I want to quit or give up spirit, you gotta pray for the strength to endure it and understand why you're going through it. Because it's all character development at the end of the day, which it don't feel good. It never do. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord put us through shit because He sees things in us that needs to get brought out. All right, and ultimately we catch hell to figure that out, man. We get fucking broken down. We fall different shit to figure it out. All right, this is Iraq 2 from the top. It's a classic. It says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation." It says, "Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble." So we're told to constantly endure, man, and that's what this thing is all about. It's about endurance, because like I said, you don't want to get burnt out to where when you catch hell and it start pouring on you, it might be emotional shit, mental shit that just demons just keep fucking with you. At the same time, you're dealing with financial shit and bodily ailments all at the same time, man. You know, sometimes it feel like these demons jump you, okay? But that's why scriptures say constantly endure because the race ain't given to the swift. There's a lot of niggas burn out. You don't want to burn out in this thing, man. You don't want to burn out because the trials and temptations was too much for you to bear. But in reality, the Lord say He won't put more on us than we can bear, man. So it's really just a matter of us having to be strengthened up to endure this shit, man. Okay, it says, "Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble." See, it says, "Cleave unto Him and depart not away, that thou may be increased at thy last end." So in the same the same shit where you got to deal with all these temptations. That's when you're supposed to cleave unto the Lord, man. All right, that's when you're supposed to cleave to Yahweh Bashmi Al the most. You know, so really, when you catching all this hell, that's the hot time where in the Lord, you're to draw near unto the Lord, man. Because you catching hell, and you start throwing those petitions up, man. You start praying, well, why am I going through this? What's the meaning behind this? And really, you need to look and see what character development is taking place, if you will. Because you'll be able to look back 6 months down the line, and the hope is that you've grown. You know what I'm saying? And when the storm comes, it don't last forever, man. But sometimes it beats you down. All right, but that's why we gotta cleave to the Lord, and also let me grab this. Pray for each other, man. This is James 5:16. Okay, it says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another, that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Okay, scriptures also say the prayers of the elect pierce the clouds, man. So we gotta make sure we praying for each other, man. Okay, and we had the example with the Lord in John the 17th chapter. Hey, he prayed for the elect. You know, he prayed that the Lord Yahweh would keep us from the evils of the world, man. See, so that's the example from our big brother Yahweh Shah that we gotta pray for each other, man. Even you might not know the nitty gritty details of what a brother or sister may be dealing with. You may know some things of it, but shit, man. Hey, just throw the petitions up. Okay, we all need it. I can get better at it. I'm so sure it's something we all could strive to do more, man. Just keep throwing those prayers up for each other because we need it. All right, we out here in the midst of fucking demons, man. Like seriously, we out here in the midst of all these goddamn demons. That scripture say, Satan desires to sift you as wheat. So these temptations hit us, man. These fiery darts, and it's designed to fucking designed to kill you, man. Sometimes you get hit with this shit, and it's like, damn, man, like it's like you feel like you being pushed to the point of crashing out, you know. But that's the moment where, like I said, you turn to the Lord, man, and you have to cleave unto Him, all right, and ultimately pray for the strength, all right, to endure that storm. You see, verse 4 says, Sirach 2 and 4 says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. See, that's when that storm is beating you down, knocking you on the ground and shit. And they say if you land on your back, if you look up, you can get up. You know, and that's one thing I've really learned, man, is that you just gotta keep going. Like Tom waits for nobody. It's gonna keep moving nonetheless. You just gotta keep going, man. Keep enduring, keep going. And this ain't even particularly speaking of when you go off, okay, when you fall, because scriptures say, woe to him that is pretty much like laden down with his sins, okay. I'm not even referring to that. I'm just saying in general, the hell that we catch, man. You just got to keep going, keep moving forward, all right, okay. But even when you go off, man, see, this thing is about enduring and just keep moving, all right. You know, it says, uh, yeah, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. All right, because it's time to level up. All right, it says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So there you have it, man. That's why don't be surprised when you start catching all types of hell, and some shit just be so damn random. You like, what the fuck is this, man? Some shit be demons you may have dealt with before, but some shit may be some new shit. It's like, what the fuck is this? And you just gotta pray. You gotta lean on the Lord, man. Okay, and also let me see if I can find this. Matter of fact, let me continue. Verse 6: believe in Him, and He will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in Him, man. So trust the Lord. Hey, fuck all that leaning to your own understanding and listening to the lies of them demons in your ear. In the moments, trust the Lord, man. You know, Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside lest ye fall. Okay, but that's really the point. Okay, really the point, man. There's another one I want to grab real quick. See if I can find this. Give me 1 second. There it is. Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 9. It says, but wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her. See, wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her. And we catch all types of hell. We catch pain, on our day to day, man. Okay, a lot of shit, like I said, it's a lot of demons, man, that attack us. Spiritual ones, mental ones, emotional, physical, you know, etc. But that's why you gotta lean on the Lord and His truth, His wisdom, okay, to be able to ultimately cope with this shit, man. Because if we didn't have the truth, we pretty much would be fucking screwed out here, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can speak for myself first and foremost. I know if I didn't have the truth, man, who's to say where Jake would be? Jay probably would have been crashed out just because I would have had no hope. But that's why I said, but wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her, because at least even when we got to catch all this fucking hell, we know what's up at the end of the day, man. We know Esau's going down, right? We see it. We see it happening. We know that we're up next. We know that, hey, that the elect are going to be delivered, and we're hoping we're at that number. We know the 144,000, all right, are going to be the governors of the kingdom. All right, we know the kingdom is coming. So these things is these truths is what keeps us going, man. These truths is what keeps us going. Okay, because if we didn't have the truth and you didn't know what was up next, you didn't know this man was not gonna be fucking ruling and oppressing us, and that we would have to catch this hell forever. Yeah, you fuck around and crash out. You know what I'm saying? You say fuck it. You go back into the world. You do things like that because you didn't have no hope. But we have it, man. Okay, and that's ultimately what we have to hold on to endure and really to cope with uh, the storm. All right, but that's really the point. Like I said, man, we got to keep praying for the strength to endure the storm. All right, as well as pray for others. All right, to endure too. Okay, we don't all have the same degree of faith, man. All right, different brothers got different degrees of faith, so you can't look at another brother's situation or whatever it may be, and oh well, that might not be as intense, or I wish I was dealing with that because this what I'm dealing with is too hard. Like, you can't do that, man. We all got our own specific trials and shit that's sufficient enough for us to really to design to have us lean on the Lord for Him to continue our character development. Okay, like I said, gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So before we can come that fine gold, we got to get refined. Impurities got to get purged out. Shit has to happen within us to bring out, that new man that the Lord is coming back to deliver, man. All right, but Lord willing, I was at a point. I'm going to close out. All praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, Bashim Kakadash, BTA Wa Baba Ball, Shalom.